call for help? We gotta reboot the system first.
The door locks! Ellie, boot up the door locks!
All the files of the whole park. It tells you everything. I gotta find the right file. Oh, this is it. This might be the right file.
I don't want you on this game right now.
What are you talking about?
You've been on kill 'em up games all day and all yesterday.
It's because our new favorite game.
I don't like it. You know.
This isn't the right file. This might be the right file. This isn't the right file. This might be the right file.
Let me decide. Don't send me emails during my ban.
This isn't the right file. This might be the right file. This isn't the right file. You got it! Yes!
Dinosaurs lived a long time ago. They were terrible lizards, don't you know? Some ate plants, some ate meat, some ate fish, and some ate beets. All right, let's try that. Can you hear me now? Turn that down a little bit. Yeah, I think that'll be good. All right, we're working now. Can you hear the music, anybody? Let's see. Should be desktop audio.
You're not doing so badly yourself for paleontology.
And thank you to whoever that was who just followed. I appreciate you. As you can probably tell, I am not streaming from my office right now. I have just embarked on this great big summer-long road trip, and the first step, the first leg of the trip, is at my mom's place. So I just set off this morning, arrived here, and now I'm streaming from my laptop. It's going to be mobile streams from here on out for the rest of the summer, and with all of the attendant technical difficulties and all that. So, yeah. Anyway, can you give me a 3 in chat if you can hear the music right now? Music is okay? Okay, Javasaurus, thank you. Let me know if it's too loud or anything. Again, we're working on an entirely different setup than I have in my office, so everything is different. So yeah, anyway, I am being joined today by my mom and my Auntie Kathy, her sister. And you can come over whenever you'd like. Yeah. Here comes Mom.
Hello, Danny Rooney.
Yeah. There's my mom. Everybody meet my mom and her sister, my Auntie Kathy.
Auntie Kathy's in the house, kids.
See if you put those earbuds in, can you hear music right now?
Yes.
You can? Okay. Maybe I should scoot this closer. And hopefully we don't... Yeah. That'll work. Just try not to bump anything too badly.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
But yeah. Holy cow! Thank you again for letting me stay over. It
yeah.
makes the trip a little bit easier to be able to drive for just a little bit on the first day, not have to go all the way out to Nevada on the first day. But yeah. Pocket Thurman says, "Good job making a good human, Mama."
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So you're saying you're going to spend all summer?
Yeah, I might be gone. I'm not actually sure when I'm going to be heading back.
Yeah.
I know that I'm going to be doing some field work in Utah in like mid to late July, maybe through mid-August.
So this is what you're describing is really an adventure for your watchers.
Well, absolutely, yeah, provided everything works properly.
Viewers, watchers.
Viewers.
Whatever, listeners.
Listeners.
Hype train providers. We want a hype train. Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So shoot, I might be gone as late as could even be September. We'll have to see.
But it's sort of like you might have some technical challenges along the way.
Oh, we will definitely have. We've had technical challenges,
and it'll be an interesting adventure for.
Definitely,
viewers.
yeah. They all know that already.
Okay.
We've talked about it.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
You don't have to sell chat on that idea.
Okay.
They already know. Yeah.
Okay,
So anyway, yeah. Is the music too loud in those earbuds? Is that why you took them out? I'm just trying to.
No,
No?
I just didn't want to have it here if I didn't have to. I didn't want to pull away from Auntie Kathy.
Gotcha. Should we scoot the couch closer?
No, I think we're fine.
Do I have to have?
Should we be listening still?
No, you don't. You don't have to.
Okay.
Just making sure that you're not just being polite.
I was the one with the rules.
Hype train.
And who is that? Holy cow. Let's see. Lenina, 13 months of subscribing. Thank you so much, Lenina. You know how much I appreciate you. Lenina is a longtime subscriber and one of my moderators, too.
Oh, awesome.
She actually got a really awesome tattoo that I helped design.
Oh, wow. Of
Pretty
what?
cool.
Of what?
An Acrocanthosaurus skull. Yeah.
Awesome.
And Hugan, thank you for the raid. I appreciate that. Welcome. Yeah. So yeah, anyway.
What's the rave again?
Oh, a raid is when
Oh, a
somebody
raid.
ends their stream and then they
Drop them. Drop
Exactly.
it into.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a raid. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in the old days,
Uh-huh.
a raid was when the cops would come.
I think it still is. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
On Twitch, it's a good thing though.
Yeah, it's a good thing. No one's getting busted.
Yeah. Anyway, I was thinking for today, I was trying to figure out what should we do on stream that would be interesting, and I found this really cool documentary. We've actually watched it a few times on my channel before. People love it. I think you might really, really like it.
Okay.
It's called Your Inner Fish.
Okay.
It's from PBS, and good song is just ending right now. Beautiful. I think you might like it a lot. It's let's see if we can get this to work properly. It's difficult when I've only got only one screen here.
Okay.
Oh,
But,
right.
Let's see, and maybe I should adjust the camera so that Auntie Kathy
Oh, she's falling
is in
out.
here too.
Oh, here, I can just squeeze Mommy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Mom.
Okay.
All good like that?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Cool. So anyway, I think you'll really like this. It's like the presenter is very relatable, and it kind of deals with the human body and why certain weird things are the way that they are, and what that tells us about our history and all that cool stuff.
Okay, so I need my headphone in, right?
Yeah, I think you'll like it. Everybody in chat, let me know if it's too loud or anything.
So like the Peter Pan ride, it's like, here we go.
Sure, yeah. Let's turn closed captions
my
on
favorite
for our hard of hearing viewers.
Peter Pan at Disney.
And
here we go.
yeah, here we go.
Is it what city?
Is it too loud? Okay, that's Chicago there.
Oh, Chicago.
Yeah.
Was that Chicago that you had on the screen?
When I look at my fellow humans, I see ghosts of animals past. Glimpses of an epic story that's hidden inside us all.
This beginning part's a
My
little
name's
corny, but
Emil
it's
Schumann.
cool.
As a scientist, I look at human bodies different from most people. The way we grip with our hands.
Pause here. They're saying it's a bit quiet. Let me
Yeah,
turn
it
the
is.
volume
Yep.
up. Here we go.
Oh, that furry hand.
Should be up like that. Let's try it now. So this is kind of like looking at pieces of our history that are kind of there in our bodies today. I think it's really neat.
We can thank our primate ancestors.
Still kind of
for
low.
that.
Still kind of low?
Yeah.
Okay.
How we hear so many sounds.
It's not
How's that?
changing. It's not changing.
Back to creatures the size of a shrew.
The volume's not changing.
Volume's not
What does
changing.
your listeners, watchers say?
50,000 a year has been well spent.
And hang on a second, who was that? Holy cow,
Hype
was that
train?
Jacob Neon?
Hype train, Kathy.
We
She's
do have a hype
hype
train.
Oh, gosh.
Thank you, thank
Gotta
you.
pull away these
Jacob?
headphones. I'm more
Yeah.
sorry. Sorry. Okay.
We've got a hype train going. Yeah, where are we now? We are somewhere near Sacramento, California. Tomorrow I'm going to be driving east into Nevada, hopefully doing a live stream from Berlin Ichthyosaur State Park, provided that there's enough signal and the equipment all works properly. But
That's good.
yeah, I'd stop by here on the way out. It's been a while since I've seen my mom or Auntie Kathy, and you've got 2 new cats too.
Two
maybe
new cats,
maybe
yeah.
they'll even make an appearance
Yeah,
on
we're
stream.
hoping.
They are
Maybe
very
should
sweet.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
They should subscribe.
They were a boy and girl pair
Ah.
that was 5 years old, and they weren't going to get adopted because they were supposed to be a pair. So I adopted
They're a
both of them.
bonded pair.
They're a bonded pair.
They're
5.
siblings, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
And what are
they-
their names?
Puffs. Oh, Coco and Puffs.
That's great. I've met both of them. They both really like me so far. I really
Yeah.
like them.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Puffs especially is very friendly.
Puffs
He's,
is a lanky
Yeah.
dude.
and thank you, Chow Bao. Hey, I appreciate that, Chow Bao. Thank you. Is that too loud for you?
Thank
No.
you very much for the 100 bits.
It's really loud in my ear.
Oh,
She doesn't look
That's
old
okay.
enough.
how's your
Sincere
listeners?
appreciation
Did you hear what they
and
said? No.
gratitude.
They s-
Thank you very much for the 100 bits.
Somebody
With sincere appreciation and gratitude.
somebody said, "How
Thank
is
you
she
very
your
much
mom?
for the
She doesn't
100
look old
bits."
enough."
Oh,
Oh,
that's
she
so
is.
sweet. Give me another cocktail, please. Give that
Thank you so
person a
much,
bonus, yeah.
Fedorasaur and Vampire.
That
Really
was
appreciate
sweet.
your support. Who was it who said that? That was Joshua Sweet,
Oh,
living up to his
Joshua?
name.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's sweet, Joshua. Joshua Sweet
Yeah.
is sweet.
Yeah, Joshua Sweet's a stalwart supporter, a tier 3 supporter, which means
Oh,
it's like
wow.
extra support every month.
Oh, nice.
That's
Nice.
amazing.
So yeah, pretty cool.
So you
Pretty cool.
educate and you share, and you're
Yeah,
and people share knowledge with you too, right?
yeah.
You're learning. You learn as well.
I learn every stream. Yeah,
Okay.
usually it's stuff related to fossils, but people mention other stuff in chat. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's important that your kids learn.
But yeah. Pocket Theremin says, "Please show us the children." I think the cats are sleeping right now, but maybe they'll make an appearance. We'll have to see.
Yeah. We'll see.
We don't want to bother
They-
them right now.
Yeah. They've
Yeah.
only been around like a month.
Yeah,
They're a little bit
just newly
spooky,
adopted.
spooked.
Yeah. So let's see here. I wonder if we can get this to work. I wonder why it would be.
We could probably share.
Oh, let me go like this. If I turn the volume up there
Okay,
and then
maybe
I turn
that'll
it
do it.
down here, maybe that'll work. Let's go back just a little bit.
Yeah, because it seemed like when you're raising the volume on the left, it wasn't changing.
It didn't change at all for
No.
you.
No.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I've got a Bluetooth headphone earbud in right now, and
Yeah.
then these wired ones right here too. And so it's
Apple product.
well, it still works with the aux jack though. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's make sure I've switched scenes here properly. There we go. This is difficult. Normally I've got like
Oh yeah.
2 different monitors here, so I
Right.
can. Now with this, I got to switch back and
I'm kind of
forth.
slumming it here.
Yeah,
That's
it's,
only-
it's a mobile setup.
As a scientist, I look at human bodies different from most people.
Is it still kind of
The
low?
way
Yeah.
we grip with our
Let
hands.
me turn it up.
We can thank our primate ancestors for that.
Is that better?
Yeah.
A little better.
Yeah.
Okay.
How we hear so many sounds. That dates back to creatures the size of a shrew.
How we can hear so many sounds. I like that.
And the further back we go,
Oh,
the stranger it gets.
This is just the opener thing. The whole thing is not like this. This is just to get your attention at the very beginning.
To reveal
Yeah, she's
why
like
we
lizard
look the
lady.
way we do, we'll travel through the distant reaches of our family tree
This is super cool.
and meet an unusual cast of characters. The ancestors that shaped your body. The family you never knew you had. From the Badlands of Ethiopia
She's beautiful.
to the shores of Nova Scotia,
This is
So you
the
believe
spot.
all this happened? This
I mean, we have the fossils.
we'll search for
Yeah.
clues that lie buried in rock.
His eyes are like globes.
I think I found
So
it.
this is kind of like a promo for the whole series.
search for
This is
answers
mostly going to be
beaten by
focusing on
DNA.
fish and stuff for this episode.
I think it gives us a glimpse into
Like this.
the brain of our ancestors.
I mean, I find that mind-blowing.
The adventure begins with a search for some of our most elusive relatives.
Let me make sure that this is
Fish
showing up
that
properly.
crawled onto
Good.
land
It is.
hundreds of millions of years ago.
That's like our main character for
necks
today,
and
called
lungs
Tiktaalik.
To our limbs and hands, we owe a lot to these intrepid pioneers.
So a fish that actually came up on the land.
So if you really want to see why you're built the way you are, it's time to meet your inner fish.
Let me double check. Is it still a little quiet for you? I can turn it up.
Remember, we're old though.
No, it has nothing to do with us.
No, it's a technical thing. Yeah.
Okay, it's good enough.
That's good for you?
No, we're still in.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Just can't see it because again, I've only got one monitor.
It's going right up the valley.
But this is cool. I'd love to do field
The
work up in
Canadian
the high
Arctic
Arctic
is
like
one of the
this.
most desolate regions of the planet. But there's nowhere else I'd rather spend the summer.
That's summer up there.
Wow.
Which is like the only time that they can work because that's when it's warmest.
And when was this filmed?
This was like 2004 or something
is
like
there
that, I
still
think.
What draws me here is treasure.
I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, with the Earth warming up.
My kind of treasure.
My kind of treasure
Fossils
too.
hidden inside
There we go.
ancient rocks. In particular, the fossils of long-dead fish. But not just any old fish. I'm hunting for fish that carry the story of our own bodies inside of them.
Wow, that's crazy.
How I got here and what I found could change the way you think about yourself and your body.
This scene is really cool, kind of setting
This
the
is
stage.
a story that ends on top of the world with the most important discovery of my life.
I like that transition. You think it's going to be the Arctic,
Yeah.
and then it's
But
Chicago.
it begins in the city of Chicago with a room full of human cadavers.
That's the aquarium there. Yeah, the Field Museum's right over there too.
Is this the same guy that was on the...
It was
Yeah,
more than a
that's
decade
That's
ago,
Neil Shubin.
and I just moved to the University of Chicago as chairman of the anatomy department.
And I remember, hanging around with the students
bodies,
around the
right?
tables
Yeah,
here.
cadavers. Yeah.
Just getting to know them and letting them get to know me.
He talks about that a
They're
little bit.
launching their careers as future physicians. And there's some nerves and skittishness those first few days. And they almost invariably ask,
Did you take
Shubin, what?
Hang on a second.
I don't think so.
You didn't? Did you take physiology?
Oh yeah, we had to go to the Morgan stuff. So
Oh,
I've
really?
Seen all this.
So
Yeah.
you've like done stuff with cadavers and that kind of thing?
I think I kind of let somebody else do it, but I was there.
I'm kind of the same way. Like I get really squeamish about
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and I've had to do a little bit of dissection.
Yeah.
Only a little bit of cadaver work.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
it's like it's tricky. And Shed's Aquarium. Thank you, Jody Fish. Appreciate that. That was Shed's Aquarium that we saw. there.
All right, thank you, Jody.
And I'd love to see that too. I think I've been to Shed's Aquarium, the Shed Aquarium one time.
Wow.
Maybe if I'm lucky, I'll go back this summer. We'll
You're
have to
talking
see.
about Chicago?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be in Illinois at some point. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm going that far east, believe it or not.
Wow.
But yeah.
And the internet goes that far?
Yes, they have internet in Chicago. Montana just got it like last year. But,
Oh, really?
Chicago's had it for a while now.
Well, it doesn't Montana have dial-up internet still? No.
Pretty much.
No.
No, seriously, when I was out there last summer, the only time that I had to stop a stream because the internet was so bad was when I was in the hotel in Bozeman.
Oh wow.
It was that slow.
Oh wow.
So anyway, let me make sure everything's still good here. It looks good. Okay, we'll switch back to that
There you
tab.
are.
And let me go back just a little bit. I love this little bit of explainer thing here.
They're launching
So
their
like I've worked with
careers.
cadavers before because as paleontologists, like often we teach anatomy classes. That's like how we pay the bills, and that's what Neil Shubin is doing here at the University of Chicago. So I think this
he's
is
really a paleontologist.
yeah. So he's going to talk about that in just a second. Yeah.
Okay.
future physicians. And there's some nerves and skittishness those first few days. And they almost invariably ask, Dr. Shubin, what kind of doctor are you? Are you a surgeon? Are you a cardiologist? I'd say, well, no, I'm a fish paleontologist. And I'd get this look like, well, what? I want my money back.
I didn't
But it
know
soon
it was a
became clear
fish
that being a paleontologist.
Yeah.
That's specific.
And not just
Well, shoot,
any
I mean, like,
paleontologist.
so when you think paleontologist, maybe you think of dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because because obviously I work on dinosaurs and I've been obsessed with dinosaurs since I was a little kid. But no, paleontologists study any kind of fossils.
Okay.
Dinosaurs, fish, mushrooms, insect, whatever. Yeah, any kind of preserved remains of ancient living things.
A fish paleontologist is a very powerful way to teach human anatomy. Because often some of the best roadmaps to our own bodies are seen in other creatures.
It's a good thing Steven's not here.
Because I like crustaceans.
Sharks.
Oh, sharks.
My brother's
Now,
terrified of
you
sharks.
might not think your body has much in common with a fish, but I see a family resemblance. On the surface, you're not very fish-like, I'll admit.
Are they cool?
But you are related to them, and the clues to that connection are etched in ancient stone.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to talk about why.
Fossils unearthed around the world reveal that fish are the first creatures with bony skeletons.
So everything that has a bony skeleton,
they have backbones and skulls,
evolved
just
from a
like
fish
you and
at some
me.
point. If you go back hundreds of millions of years.
This shared anatomy connects us to fish and to a long line of other animals. To see what I mean, imagine the complete history of life on a giant family tree, from the first microscopic organisms billions of years ago to all animals alive today.
So you know, like drawing a family tree for, you know, like genealogy or something like that. You can think of all life on Earth being part of a big family tree too.
Right.
We talk about that all the time here on this channel. And I apologize everybody for not being as responsive to chat as I normally am, but kind of special circumstances here. I hope you're still having fun.
Well, what do they have to say?
But yeah. Schmazonium says, I love sharks, and my sister is terrified of them.
Oh.
And Lord Dino says, is this innerfish? Yes, it is your innerfish. Yep. And, yeah. Anyway.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here, let's continue.
I have an inner fish because
Our history lies on one branch of this tree of life, and we can trace our ancestry back. Around 400 million years ago, you'll find fish swimming in oceans and streams. 40 million years later, the first amphibians appear on land.
Tinkertoy701 just changed things with those 5 gift subs.
Then we see reptiles.
Holy cow, Tinkertoy, thank you so much for the gift subs. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. And Chabao says, I'm still happy to be here. I'm happy you're here too, Chabao. Holy cow, Tinkertoy, thank you very much for that support. I really appreciate it.
Right on, Tinker Toy! Hype train!
It'll be like, I think, another hour before we can get a hype train. But
okay.
Wait, where's my cocktail? Hold on. Okay, here we go. Can we drink on the air?
Sure.
Followed by the first mammals around 200 million years ago.
It's apple juice.
And much later, we arrive at our special branch, primates.
Yeah.
This history tells us something
Yeah, it's kind
remarkable.
of like an X-ray view.
Every reptile,
It's interesting.
bird, and mammal alive today is descended from ancient fish.
That scared the crap out of me
And
as
that
a kid.
includes
Really?
us.
Oh my god.
Yeah. What did you see it in the theater?
No, it was on TV, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my god. it was
When did
so
that come
scary.
out? Planet of the Apes.
Hold
The
on,
first
you're
one.
gonna date me now.
What's that?
You're gonna give my age away. Oh, but gosh,
Yeah.
it was on TV. Oh my
70s
god. They were
probably.
just, it was scary, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then the Night of the Living Dead was another thing. Oh,
Well, that's a whole nother.
oh, that was creepy.
That's a
Creatures
legitimately
Features?
scary movie.
Was it a
Yeah.
Creatures
Yeah.
Features or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was so scary. They're all zombies are walking
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
I thought they were gonna get us. Oh my god.
Classic film. I've never seen that one, but
Oh yeah.
That's
Night
pretty
of the Living
good.
Dead. Oh.
Huh.
Oh wow. Oh, there's dead people.
So
in there.
how does this
Yeah.
legacy play
see
out
dead
in our anatomy?
I see dead people.
Each one of us, walking around in this lab today, carries the history of life within us. And the evidence is seen in every part of our bodies.
And not just in our bones. Even the complex tangle of nerves inside the human head makes much more sense when you realize it's the same basic wiring found in fish.
It's just
But
modified.
there's one
over time.
defining piece of human anatomy that seems remote from the world of fish. And I vividly remember when it first captured my imagination.
When I walked into the anatomy lab for the first time, I was sort of scared about what I was going to see, what I was going to feel. But the reality is, after the first few weeks, that fear turns into a sort of a cocky self-confidence. And these things, you know, when you dissect them, it doesn't look very human. It kind of looks like a wax model in a lot of ways. But then you hit the hand. And for me, as I unwrapped the gauze and revealed the palm, the fingers, the fingernails, something else hit me entirely. And that was a deep sense of connection. A connection to another human body lying on that slab. This was not a wax model that I was dissecting. This formerly was a person who lived a life just like I am living now.
I know, right?
When I see the anatomy
Open it
within
up,
the human hand, I'm in awe of the intricate connections between
was
bone,
not told there
tendon,
was
and
any
muscle.
gore.
It's not gore. I mean, if you really want to figure out how something works, you got to take it apart.
Through the tendons,
Yeah.
that the hand does its.
There's not a lot of that in this. This is like the only scene.
So that when the muscles fire, it pulls on these tendons and watch. The fingers flex. Now, the fine muscles of our hand, these little tiny muscles that lie along the tendons, these are the muscles that control the fine motion of our fingers. These are the ones that are quintessentially primate and human.
So where did this marvel of evolution come from? It clearly has deep roots in the past. And you can see evidence of that in the bones of modern creatures.
This is what we call homology.
More than 150 years ago,
it's the same
scientists were finding
structures in different
connections between the
creatures.
hands
Because we all
and
come from the
limbs
same
of
ancestor.
four-legged animals.
Watch.
Sir Richard Owen was an anatomist in the 19th century. He was fortunate to be an anatomist in an age of discovery. And so people were coming back.
So Sir Richard Owen is actually the guy who came up with the word dinosaur back in 1842. So
wow.
Yeah. Back then, there were not a lot of people that were studying animals and stuff.
Mhm.
So it's like one guy could make a huge difference
Wow.
in the field because it's all new. It's all low-hanging fruit, you know? But he had some really cool insights, including this.
Back to London with new
Yeah,
and
I know,
oddball
right?
creatures for him to analyze. And in analyzing all the different creatures, he found common patterns.
Although the overall shape and structure of each limb was very different, he started to see that there was an underlying theme.
There's a
It
cat.
was as if the same set of bones was being squashed
Crocodile.
or extended to perform different functions.
Turtle. So we've all got the same bones.
Here's a dog.
They're just
Dogs, run and
shapes.
jump. What do you have? One bone, two bones, little bones, and then the digits, the equivalents of the fingers or toes. And, of course, here's a bird. Its limb has been modified into a wing, and it has one bone, two bones, lots of bones, and then digits. The amazing fact is, in each of these creatures, the skeletal architecture is largely the same as ours.
And what was utterly surprising is that the skeleton of every animal walking the earth today
has this fundamental pattern of one bone, two bones, little bones, fingers.
We have two bones.
Owen didn't know why creatures had that pattern.
But the ulna and the
Did you
ulna
prepare
and the
for this?
radius.
radius. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Radius.
Physiology.
Ulna. Yep.
You have two.
Yeah. Yeah. So one bone here, that's your humerus.
Yeah.
And then you've got your ulna and your radius. That's two bones in here. You've got those little bones, your wrist bones, and you've got your
Phalanges. What?
phalanges. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, very good.
Are you impressed?
Yes.
It was a mystery to him. It really took a new insight, an insight from Charles Darwin, which basically said the reason why animals have this common pattern is because at some time in the distant past, they all shared a common ancestor that had a version of this pattern too.
Which is the thing.
According to Darwin,
Yeah,
we
exactly.
should be able to trace the evolution of our limbs and hands by going back in time down our family tree. Starting with our primate ancestors, we see hands and limbs that look very similar to our own. Go back a bit further to the first mammals, and we find deeper similarities in the paws. And we see how paws emerged from more distant relatives. And if we go back even further, we reach our most distant four-legged ancestors. These animals, the earliest tetrapods, were among the first to have Owen's one bone, two bones, lots of bones pattern. But when we enter the underwater world, around 400 million years ago, instead of animals with limbs, we find prehistoric fish with fins. And that brings us to a great mystery of biology. How did we get from fish with fins to animals with arms and legs? Darwin boldly predicted that there must have been ancient animals, transitional forms, that bridged this gap. But what would such an animal look like? Would it have limbs, or fins, or both?
Something in between, yeah.
Such a creature reflects a critical step in the origin of the human hand. I set out to find one.
So this is really, really cool because, I don't know, sometimes you hear people say like, oh, paleontology, it's a historical science. It's like you don't really run experiments or anything. This is a beautiful example, what you're about to see, of an experiment being run in paleontology. Okay. Making a prediction and then setting out to try and test it through fieldwork. So I think this is one of the coolest stories in fossil science from the past, like 50 years.
Started my search back in the early 90s when I worked in Philadelphia.
Okay.
I knew that finding this transitional fish was going to be a tall proposition.
A lot of them around.
So it's just like when I worked in the museum in Berkeley, it's just like this.
Where to look.
The world's a big place. So the Earth is a giant planet, and fossils are very small. So how do you find those things? Well, there's a checklist we run through. We look for places in the world that have rocks of the right age. If you're interested in the origin of dinosaurs, there's one age.
And by the way, everybody, I get this question all the time, like, how do you find dinosaur fossils? How does that process work? This is a beautiful distillation of that. If you want to go out and find fossils, this is how we actually do it as paleontologists. So let me go back just a little bit.
Fossils are very small, so how do you find those things?
I mean, not really. We don't really dig deep. Here, you'll see.
Well, there's a checklist we run through. We look for places in the world that have rocks of the right age. If you're interested in the origin of dinosaurs, there's one age of rock to look at. If you're interested in the origin of transitional creatures between water and land, there's another age of rock.
Interesting.
Hang on. I'm going to make sure that my... Oh, I had my closed captions off. I'm sorry, everybody. Yeah, here. Let's get back to that. Yeah, basically, that's step one, is like you've got to find the right age of rocks where they're exposed on the surface.
Then you look for places in the world that have rocks of the right type, the kinds of rocks that are likely to hold fossils.
We knew from previous discoveries that rocks from the Devonian era, around 360 million years old, were likely to contain early tetrapod fossils. And it turned out we had rocks of that age right here in Pennsylvania.
The other thing is that
Pennsylvania doesn't have a lot of badlands.
To look for good sites, I teamed up with geologist Ted Deschler, and we've been fossil hunting buddies ever since.
You know what? We tried it through here, even going down into West Virginia.
We are sort of maybe an odd couple. Neil is excitable and enthusiastic, which is wonderful. I'm enthusiastic as well, but I think maybe not quite as vociferous. I might tend to hunker down more and focus on recovering the material as we start to find it. And Neil might be a little bit more, okay, what's over the next horizon? What's over the next hill? Neil is on that edge, always thinking about the new place to go.
So there's a lot of trees in Pennsylvania.
Oh, sit in the car with
where are you going to find exposed rock?
Geological papers in the other, and we tootle through these state roads, looking at the rocks, saying, okay, what kind of rock is this again? What kind of age is it? But the problem in Pennsylvania is it's not a desert. The bedrock is not exposed to the surface. You have forests, you have grass. Turns out the best exposures of rock in the state were made for us by the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, because they would dynamite. They had exposed sections of the geological record. And we eventually hit this one road cut, giant exposure. It's called Red Hill.
Probably is.
Oh my God.
So basically, the best places
the
are
place
Right
like,
off the highway.
yeah, they're literally on the side of the road.
Ambitions to
Wow.
explore the globe. But our first expedition didn't take us to an exotic desert halfway around the world.
Oh, Chicken's Pickens had something very nice to say.
Oh, I can't. What do you say?
It happened by the side of a Pennsylvania highway.
Here, do you want to read it out loud?
What's it, Chickens
It
Pickens?
says, thanks so much, Danny, Mom, for Danny's mom making the Danny we all know and love. Thanks for nurturing his interests and supporting his journey in life. If we could all be so lucky. Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah,
Very sweet.
wonderful community here. We really do.
Yeah, that's supportive of each other. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It happened by the side of a Pennsylvania highway.
They don't even have any orange cones out or anything.
Had revisited Red Hill one time when I was not there. He made a phone call to me. He says, "Hey, Neil, I think I found something really important." I said, "Well, what did you find?" He's like, "I think I found a tetrapod." I said, "Ted, you kidding? I mean, no, you're not gonna find a tetrapod on your second or third trip to Red Hill. This is gonna take years of work."
So I'm moving along this layer and saw beautiful little fossil bone material, chipped around it a little bit, right on this layer. And lo and behold, uncovered what turned out to be a very significant specimen. This is the shoulder girdle of an early limbed animal.
See that shoulder blade
It
right
was a
there?
new species. It was a whole new kind of animal.
So fish don't have shoulder
although we
blades
only
like
have
that.
a shoulder girdle, it's actually a very informative part of the skeleton. It would be on the left side, the skull would go off in that direction, and the animal itself would be about 1 meter long. And just from the shoulder girdle, we can learn things about how it may have held that limb. And of course, it does compare to other animals that are similar from other parts of the world, and we can use those to learn other aspects of Hynerpeton.
These early four-legged animals belong to a group I like to call the stegas.
Stegas!
Stegas!
Like ham stuff. Stegas.
Some of the best specimens had been found in Greenland by a paleontologist named Jenny Clack, who began working there in the 80s.
The idea of transition between animals with fins and animals with limbs has been thought about for a long time. But until recently, there had only been 3 data points. Something that was obviously a fish at one end, something that was obviously an animal with legs and walking around at the other end, and in the middle was this very peculiar thing called Ichthyostega.
This is great because we've got more or
Using
less
the
a complete
latest
skeleton of
scanning
that critter.
techniques to build a 3D model of Ichthyostega, Jenny's trying to get a better sense of how this creature lived. She's working with animal motion expert Stephanie Pierce at London's Royal Veterinary College.
Basically what we wanted to see was how much movement was possible at each of the limb joints and how this compared to modern animals.
They compared Ichthyostega to modern tetrapods, like salamanders, to
I think it's a
figure out
tiger
how
salamander.
this fossil might have moved. Using pressure pads and high-speed cameras, they could measure how the
Isn't that
limbs
cool?
of modern animals work and compare this to the bones of Ichthyostega.
Ichthyostega's forelimbs could push the top half of the body off the ground, but the back end has got these paddle-like hind limbs which are useful in water for swimming with, but on land act as stabilizers to stop the thing toppling over.
The anatomy of the bones suggested that this four-legged animal had just come onto land. It was right at the edge of our search. But between these tetrapods and ancient fish, there was still a gap spanning millions of years. If we could find an animal within that gap, we'd be filling in a crucial piece of evolutionary history.
So this is kind of like an experiment. They're going to try and look for the right rocks in the right age.
So now there was a new
see if they can
challenge.
find that creature.
Where on earth should we look next?
I remember sitting in the office, And we were doing this sort of usual banter one day about something geological. We had a college textbook. You're just thumbing through the diagrams in the book, and boom, there was this figure that changed our lives.
There's the map. It was a map of North America, which highlighted 3 areas of Devonian rock of just the right type to hold fossil fish moving onto land. There were our Red Hill rocks in Pennsylvania.
Been there, done that, worked on those very rocks.
Then there were rocks in Greenland, which Jenny Clack had already searched.
But it's that little...
Finally, there was this strip across northern Canada, and these rocks were 10 million years older.
I remember seeing that and saying to myself, holy cow, this is what we're looking for. My heart was racing when I saw that, because no paleontologist had worked on that, expressly looking for early tetrapod. Then you dug out the aerial photos, and that's when I got kind of terrified. I remember seeing this for the first time, thinking, you gotta be kidding me. You know, look at all this snow, how do you work there? All right, so
luckily I don't have to bring shotguns.
They have to protect themselves against
Polar
predators.
bears. Against what?
Predators.
Oh, I thought you said ranchers.
No, ranchers.
260 square.
Night of the Living Dead.
I've been shot
Back
up by
in
ranchers
1999,
before. Or like,
we embarked on our first Arctic adventure. We had little idea what we were in for, nor that we were starting a search that would last for over a decade.
Oh,
that is a lot of stuff.
You don't need it.
Here, in the high Arctic of Canada, there are no human settlements for miles and miles. No roads, and all you've got is what you bring with you. Here, there's always the risk of being trapped by some of the worst weather on the planet.
We're entering the valley now. Big gate oh, there she is. Yep. I'm looking right at the quarry.
We had a narrow window during the month of July when the snow melts just long enough to let us in.
It's a cool helicopter. I think it's like a Bell 400. That's bigger than the helicopters that I've worked with.
We were trained fossil hunters, but now we would have to figure out how to become Arctic explorers.
So when the helicopter drops you off in the Arctic for the first time, you're standing here saying, what am I doing here? You know, you're thinking, oh, polar bears. That's the first thing you look for. Is there anything on the landscape? Everything white becomes a polar bear. The last thing on your mind are fossils.
This is like when I do field work usually. Yeah.
It's hard
Though
to
my
believe
teams are
when
usually
you
smaller
look out
ones.
across this frozen terrain that once this was a warm, watery world swimming with life.
Here we are in the Arctic, and we have a snowstorm coming, and you know, we're looking at rocks behind us, but there's this huge disconnect between the present and the past. What we see today is a valley with red and green rocks that are tilted, stacked one on top of the other.
Here, let me pause here for a second. Just for a second here. And our music going again. I try and do like a station break thing every little while. If anybody is just waltzing in, I'd like to say hello to everybody. Introduce ourselves real quick. I'm Danny. You already know me probably. Here's my mom. And Auntie Kathy.
Kathy, hello.
Yeah, and we're watching Your Inner Fish. I'm leaving on this huge road trip across the United States, and I stopped here before embarking on this. So let me catch up to chat real quick. Some people were saying hello. Yeah, and Dork Apocalypse, holy cow! Welcome back. Dork Apocalypse says, yes, this stream, like this channel, definitely helped me pinpoint my goals from real paleontologist down to science journalist with a focus on paleontology.
Nice.
That's awesome, Dork Apocalypse. That's really cool. Valiant Cheese says hello. Orca in Disguise says hello. A bunch of other people say hello. Utopian Crisis says hello to Mom and Auntie Kathy.
Hello, Utopian
Crisis.
Crisis!
But yeah. Anyway, Christie's Art Nook says hello, Paleo Mom and Paleo Auntie.
Oh, hello. Thank you.
And Cecil says hello, Mom and Auntie. So yeah.
Hello, Cecil. Cecil.
They'll say thanks for giving us a Danny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, let's get back to our video here because I don't want to keep you here all day.
Okay.
We're We're approaching like halfway through. This is going to be really cool. He's going to describe what's going on with these rocks. See how they like it kind of looks tilted?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's going to explain that.
Wind and erosion or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
We're looking at rocks behind us, but there's this huge disconnect between the present and the past. What we see today is a valley with red and green rocks that are tilted, stacked one on top of the other.
Hang on a second, though. Claire Burr, thank you for reposting that from the Lenina. Let's take a look at that real quick. And... oh, and shoot, we weren't even... I wasn't on the right screen here. But let's take a look at... if you want to see the tattoo that the Lenina got.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. And... welcome to... no, stop. Hang on a minute. I haven't used this laptop in a little while, and it's, I'm gonna, like, log into this. But then I'll show you the tattoo. It's really cool.
Cool.
Oh, come on. I don't know if that's gonna work at the moment. This is being really irritating. Hang on just a minute.
Yeah.
Didn't even have to read. This guy.
You won't entertain the idea that I got it from Tab?
Oh, that's true.
Got it from the family dog.
Shoot, how do I
At least
log
your
in?
dad was a fish, right? No.
I can't get Discord to open right now
Oh,
without...
okay.
Well, I'll show you another time, unless I can just open it here. Oh. That's not working. Hang on. Come on. I don't know if it's going to show up right now, but it was really, really cool. If you remind me, I'll send you a picture.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
This is not as intuitive as it should be. Sorry. But yeah, let's get back to our video here. Pause that.
But that's not how it was in the past.
Here we go.
These valleys have been carved by glaciers that have moved back and forth. And those red and green rocks actually at one point extended across the valley. And they were straight, they weren't tilted. Now look inside the rocks, and what those rocks tell us, that this valley 375 million years ago was a giant floodplain. And that floodplain was filled with rivers that swelled their banks and sometimes shrunk, but in those conditions formed swamps and streams of all different sizes.
These are the same
And
kind of
inside
environments
those
that preserve a lot of dinosaurs.
was diverse life.
I think you might be right.
Somewhere out there, we were hoping to find an intrepid fish on the brink of the historic transition to life on land.
There he is. Oh, now he's dead. Now we're going
Could we ever find evidence of this momentous event buried in sediments that have been crushed and distorted by 375 million years of geological upheaval?
When you think about everything that has to go right for a creature to be first a fossil, and then a creature's fossil to be discovered by a paleontologist, is like finding a needle in the haystack.
There's a little bit of fish jaw right there with the teeth.
We were determined to find that needle, if it was out there.
So you think they had about a month?
Something like that, yeah. I think they went up for a few different summers before they really found anything. Yeah.
Back in Chicago, I had another way of tracing the anatomy we share with fish, using a different kind of window into our evolutionary history. when I wasn't looking for
It's
fossils in
stickleback.
the summers, I'd spend my time looking under a microscope at embryos. And I was watching, at the time, bodies forming from egg to adult. And there's an incredible beauty to that process. In the early stages of development, all animals start as a single cell. They divide again and again until gradually a body emerges, with a front, a back, a top, and a bottom. It became very clear early on in the process some of the most important embryos were fish, because fish have the basic body plan in their embryos that was to become our own bodies. If you see an early fish embryo and a human embryo side by side, you'll see something remarkable.
Isn't that crazy?
They look almost identical. We really do look like fish. Both embryos have a head, a body, a tail, and many other similar features. And one of those similarities exists in the neck, or what's called the pharyngeal area. In both fish and people, what you find are a series of swellings called gill arches. Turns out that in fish, those swellings become components of the gill apparatus. People, they become portions of our lower jaw, portions in our middle ear, part of our voice box.
Cool, huh?
So this is a wonderfully elegant developmental process, but sometimes things go wrong. And when they do, your inner fish can come out.
Aquaman.
Some kids are really good friends with Richard. One day, I get an email from Seth, their father, who says, "Doctor, my wife's a fish." And I said to myself, I gotta check this one out.
Uh-oh, we're right. There's something
We're
weird
here for
here.
the fish. The fish
His wife
is
has
available.
fins
It's
or
fresh. Come right through. I think if you go towards the...
Oh, we'll cut through, yeah.
This woman has fins or something?
No, no, no. It's nothing
Is
that.
this your family album?
It's nothing that dramatic. It's very subtle.
So you're a fish. Now, first off, if you are, and you're more of a fish than I am,
Yes.
I'm very jealous. So prove it.
All right. But here it is. There's my gill.
Oh, right there?
Right there.
Like I said, it's subtle.
So what happens during development is we all have gill arches. We all develop them. This little pit is a leftover from an ancient gill. And I am incredibly jealous of you, Molly, because you are more of a fish than I am. We're all fish, but some are more fish than others.
That's right. Some just haven't evolved very far.
No, you're the lucky ones. So what's really cool is when you know paleontology and developmental biology, many of the muscles and nerves and bones I'm using to talk to you with right now, and many of the muscles and nerves and bones you're using to hear me with right now, correspond to gill structures in fish. You know, and we see that in fossils, we see that in embryos, we see that in DNA, and we see that in you.
My brother-in-law has webbed feet.
I love your family, by the way.
Brother-in-law, so she's not actually.
While features like
yeah.
fish gills have been retooled in our anatomy, other body
This
parts
is really
perform the same job but end up in different places. Like testicles.
You say testicles.
Uh-huh.
Well, we're here to see some gonads. Okay. Fish gonads.
Oh. Dissect this little guy here.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, if you could
You
pop
eat
that
fish,
bad
right?
boy, that would be...
Is it done?
Yeah, you know, so there you see, you know, there's the heart, there's liver, you know, the gonad is right there.
It's in the
So
chest.
you know what's funky about these things? Is the gonad is towards the chest, right near the heart. You know, but what's stunning is you and I, like every other mammal, you know, our gonads started up there and descend down to here.
It might be better where they were. No.
Well, in
Take
some
it that
senses
way.
they would.
Having gonads close to the heart is fine for our cold-blooded fishy relatives, not so good for warm-blooded mammals. Sperm can't stand the heat, so that's why our testicles have to drop to a cooler place, outside the body.
But that causes a problem. You'll
When a
see.
human embryo develops, the gonads start deep in the body, just like they do in fish, and then descend through the body wall, mirroring evolution. But that creates a weak spot in males where our guts can pop through. This leaves us vulnerable to certain kinds of hernias.
You know, you think about why humans
Does that make sense?
have hernias. It's because our testes descend.
Right.
They start up here, they go down into the scrotum, and the body wall gets weaker because of that reconfiguration. Yeah.
The testicles.
And so, we'll find that you have a weakness in the body wall in some cases, and folks get hernias.
And that's why fish don't get hernias?
That's why fish don't get hernias.
Flaws in the human body, like our susceptibility to hernias, remind us that we're all adapted from ancient ancestors. We are,
pretty cool, right?
Every one of us, just a jerry-rigged fish.
I thought you'd like this.
In July 2000, we were back in the Arctic for a second season, continuing the search for our elusive fossil.
Now, we've actually found float bone down in this level, so let's just stay close.
We widened our explorations across the region, but we were finding hardly anything, let alone the transitional fossil of our dreams. Then, just before we began to pull out, we were suddenly confronted with the real dangers of working in this wilderness.
Uh-oh.
Polar bear.
The team had separated into several different groups. We usually go out in pairs because it's a dangerous place.
Oh, there's the guys.
One pair went down the valley, another one up the valley, and we spread apart for the day. This is Bird Fjord. This is Bird Fjord, over. We all return to camp at the end of the day, and the idea is everybody needs to return back to camp by radio call at 7 o'clock when we make our safety check back to the station. And so we're making dinner, and we're waiting for the radio call, and, come over around. It's like, hey, you guys see Jason? No, I see Jason. You see Jason? I said, I asked you that question. You didn't see Jason? And all of a sudden it became, nobody saw Jason. Where's Jason? This is our youngest member. We were looking out for him the entire season, and no Jason. I mean, my heart was really beginning to race.
Probably, yeah, undergrad.
I hear footsteps outside the tent. Tent fly opens, and there's Jason. His eyes are like globes. And he's like, I found it. I found it. I said, Jason, what did you find? You found a polar bear? What? I mean, every pocket was burgeoning with bones. He goes, I got these bones. He's laying them out on the table, one after another. Wow. Daylight 24 hours a day. So we ran down to Jason's site and began that night to crawl it, looking for the layer that was kicking out the bones.
So you got to figure out where the bones are actually coming out
from. This bluff here and looked down, we saw why Jason was so excited. Because beneath our feet were fossil fish bones, fragments of fossil fish, many of them, thousands of them. It wasn't just one fish, it was a whole aquarium. It was different species. It got better, because as we walked up the hill and we followed that carpet of fossil fragments, it stopped, meaning it likely came from one layer. And if we had any luck at all, we'd find that layer and see what's inside. No, that's not. But there was this here.
It took several weeks, but we eventually located the layer of rock from which the fossil fragments were spilling, and then looked for telltale signs of bones protruding, in the hope it might lead us to more complete specimens.
You can see this tiniest little white fleck here. That told us stop, because that little white fleck shows the structure of the scale. And then you look
there in the rocks. They found the layer. If you can find that.
Once you see that scale on end, you see another piece of bone here. You see another piece of bone here. We're on the layer itself, so it's a matter of stop. Now what we're going to do is remove this ice and rubble to expose the layer as a little platform. Only a person doing paleo.
To reach the buried fossils, we'd need to mine the rock
such a small hammer for that.
But we were running out of time.
I should show you the pig that I brought on this trip. I've got a much bigger one for what we call overburden.
Oh, okay.
When you take away all the junk from on top.
Our short window of snow-free weather ended.
Now, are you guys looking for that flight tomorrow, or were you guys delaying it until the 4th?
We're about 3 away.
Okay, roger that.
We'd have to wait another summer to dig out our ancient riverbed.
That's how it often goes. Usually you find your best stuff in the last couple of days before the season ends, and you got to go back.
Back home, a very different kind of scientific adventure was unfolding. A revolution was underway in evolutionary biology, one that would reveal a profound genetic connection between fins and limbs.
Oh yeah, it's pretty. You know what those are?
My lab would play a role in the search, but we were
Those are
part of a
egg
much
cases.
bigger effort.
Of, like a skate or a ray? Yeah.
At the forefront of this quest was my colleague Cliff Tabin, a geneticist at Harvard University.
Those are emu
Cliff
eggs
had
up
been
there, the
focusing
blue
on how
ones.
digits, like
I've worked
fingers,
with those
form. And in his work, he relied on chick embryos. For biologists, chicken eggs offer a window into the process of development.
If you take a chick egg and cut a hole in the shell and throw it away, you can see the embryo floating on top of the yolk. It's right there, it's accessible. You can start to probe what's important for it to form by removing little bits and saying, does that disrupt the process? Or by moving tissue from one place to another and saying, what does that do?
Cliff was following a long line of scientists using chickens to investigate how limbs develop. In the 1950s, John Saunders was one such scientist. Saunders and his team experimented on chick embryos just a few days old. They focused on little protrusions called limb buds, from which the wings would eventually emerge.
This is really cool.
In one experiment, Saunders took a small patch of cells from one side of a bud and transplanted it to the opposite side to see what would happen. When he came back a week later, much to his surprise, he found that the chick embryo had grown a second set of digits, one a mirror image of the other.
Isn't that crazy?
That tiny patch of cells was clearly special. Somehow, it was telling the digits where to form.
The way that we now think of it is that those cells instruct the rest of the limb by making a long-range signal, a beacon that they send out that the other cells see and respond to.
The identity of that signal was a great mystery that went unsolved for decades. But Cliff had a hunch. He and some colleagues suspected that the signal might be a single molecule that came from a single gene. He based his suspicions on research that was changing how we understand the role of genes in making body parts. It was work that had been done on an entirely different animal.
It's a tiny little creature that's really small, that breeds very rapidly, and that you can study in the laboratory. And it's this, the humble little fruit fly.
You've probably heard of a lot of research on fruit
Yes,
flies.
yes,
They're
yes.
a very popular research organism.
Wow.
By studying how fruit flies develop, scientists have made some amazing discoveries. Individual genes can do complex things, like guiding the formation of entire body parts. There was one gene, dubbed hedgehog, that caught Cliff's attention. It stood out because it seemed to send out an organizing signal.
So this doesn't seem like it has very much to do with paleontology, but it kind of gets tied
the
in.
signal,
at the
hedgehog, told different cells to do things in a particular order.
All these
depending on
fields
how
are
close they were to the
intertwined and
source of the signal.
interrelated. Help us understand the development of life on Earth.
Cliff wondered if a gene like hedgehog might play a similar role in chickens. So his team took the fly hedgehog gene and looked for a match in the chicken.
You might say. That trunk is completely
After
covered
months
with
of
thin,
searching,
bony plates.
they found it. Then, remarkably, they discovered the gene was active in exactly the same patch of cells identified by Saunders. They dubbed this new gene Sonic Hedgehog,
So
after
this
the
is
video
something
game
that
character.
chickens have,
So
and
did
fruit
Sonic
flies.
Hedgehog produce the mysterious
So it's got to
signal
go back
everyone wanted to
really,
find?
really far in our history.
Ultimately, we wanted to know whether this gene that we discovered, Sonic Hedgehog, really is the key signal for making the array of digits in the hand.
In a groundbreaking experiment, Cliff and his team added a bead containing pure Sonic Hedgehog to the wrong side of the growing limb bud, echoing Saunders' experiments. When he returned a week later, he found his chick had 2 sets of digits just like Saunders' chick. This was a major discovery. Sonic Hedgehog, a single gene, was the source of the signal responsible for generating the pattern of the digits.
And that really nails it. It really meant that we had the linchpin in our hands and could start looking at how that process worked in detail.
It turns out Sonic Hedgehog shapes not just the wings of chickens, but the paws of mice and other animals, and even our own hands.
This is pretty cool.
If you want to see just how important Sonic Hedgehog is to us, meet the Hubbard family.
Can I count your fingers? Let me see. I can count. I went to school too.
1,
2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is special. Look at that hand.
Kamani was born with an extra digit on each hand and foot.
Squeeze my finger as hard as you can. Let me see your grip. No, harder than that. You can go way harder. Oh.
Why this happens had long been a mystery. It turns out that people like Kamani often have mutations that alter the effect of their Sonic Hedgehog gene.
With the condition of Kamani, I just want to know what's allowing him to be so different.
The way our arms and legs originally develop in the womb is they push out from the body as a little bud. So we have 4 little buds sticking out of us as we're little embryos. Then those buds grow out, and eventually they grow out and they elongate. What you have is a paddle, a big, broad paddle.
Just as in the chicken limb, Sonic Hedgehog sends out a signal to shape the pattern of our digits. When it's strong, a pinky forms. And as it weakens, one by one, different fingers are made until we end up with 5. If we turn down Sonic Hedgehog, fewer fingers are made. But if we were to increase the effect of Sonic Hedgehog, we would get extra fingers, like Kamani's.
It is really quite beautiful
Pretty
that
neat,
something
right?
as simple as a single signal moving through the limb could have such profound and differential effects on the digits.
We now knew that Sonic Hedgehog played a powerful role in shaping the limbs of all sorts of 4-legged animals. So how far back did it go? Could it be a legacy passed down from the earliest fish? Back in my lab, that was a question my postdoc, Randy Don, was tackling.
So here's those things again.
Randy was investigating an ancient type of fish, skates, whose embryos grow in a sac called a mermaid's purse.
I guess the thing that struck me the most when I first opened a skate egg was how shockingly similar that embryo looks to a chicken embryo, a mouse embryo, a human embryo. As an embryologist, I should have understood, of course they're going to look similar, but still when you see that, you're thinking there's 400 million years of evolution that separates me from that embryo, and at one stage in my life, that was exactly what I looked like.
What all of us look like.
It's clear we have a shared genetic history with fish. But do the genes that shape our hands also shape these skate fins? To find out, Randy manipulated the skate embryos like Cliff had done with the chick embryos. He put a bead containing the Sonic Hedgehog molecule on the opposite side of a growing fin bud.
And it turns out that Sonic Hedgehog was sufficient to cause a mirror image duplication, a second fin to form in this skate.
This is exactly what Sonic Hedgehog had done in Cliff's chickens.
We were absolutely stunned, and you have to remember that this is a skate embryo, and what that tells us is that these very basic patterning mechanisms are performing the exact same functions in the skate, in the shark, in the chicken, in the mouse, all the way up to humans.
Pretty neat, right?
We had traced Sonic Hedgehog all the way back to life in ancient oceans. A gene that determines the shape of our hands was also shaping the fins of some of our most distant fish relatives. Our inner fish runs deep. But there is still a big mystery to solve. How did our fish ancestors make the transition onto land? And what did they look like?
So this is going to be like the finale.
We were still looking for our elusive fossil, frozen forever on the brink of this great transition. Each summer, we returned to Jason's ancient riverbed to continue excavating. We needed to move lots of rock to expose the narrow seam containing the fossils.
Hang on, I got an important question here from Orchid Twilight. Orchid wants to know, Danny, do you have enough funds to last you through this? You mean through the big summer road trip? So far I do, yeah, but I'm not sure when exactly I'm going to be coming back, so yeah. You know, I always make it through, but...
You'll be back by Christmas?
I'll be back before Christmas, yeah. But yeah. Anyway, let's continue. Welcome back, Orchid Twilight, by the way. It's good to see you.
Then we'd switch to brushes and dental picks to uncover the delicate fossilized bone.
Yeah, but a scale right.
Incredibly funny paradox. You know, we're in this huge landscape, and we're always cramped together. You know, my head's next to Ted's feet, Marcus's head's next to my feet. It's this tiny little spot.
That's how it always works. When we're digging up dinosaurs, too, you know.
It was in such a tiny corner of this vast landscape that we finally struck gold.
Well, it was the second week of July in 2004. We're all working in series in this hull. And Steve says, "Hey guys, what's this?" Ted and I go running over. And what we saw was this V here. It was covered with rock. And as soon as we saw this V, and we saw these teeth under it, it became very clear that this little V we're seeing is the tip of a snout. And that this was a snout of a flat-headed fish.
We stopped in our tracks. A flat head was a likely sign of a transitional fish.
Here was the snout of exactly the creature we were looking for, and it was sticking out of the rock. So if we had any luck whatsoever, the rest of the creature would be, you know, encased in the rock.
So this is the way that it works.
All the way around.
Like, basically, yeah, like he's saying, you dig around it, and you want to make sure that, like, you're exposing as little bone as possible.
Right.
Because, like, this thing's been in the ground for 400 million years.
Wow.
You want to make sure that you keep it intact in that, and then you put a protective coating of plaster and burlap over the top of it, like a cocoon. And then you take it back to the laboratory, and there, under controlled conditions, you can cut into it and start chipping away the rock.
Wow.
And really figure out what you've got.
Wow.
But yeah, that's an amazing feeling like that when you find just the tip of something that you know is going to be really, really cool.
Especially years later. They've been at this for how many years?
Exactly,
This is 2004 now, so
Yeah.
Leaving a chunk of rock that we then encased in plaster.
There's the plaster jacket.
We couldn't wait to see what was inside.
Okay, we get home. We knew we had a flat-headed fish, but how much of it did we have? Well, then the preparators had to take over. They removed the plaster jackets, and the first thing they did was to etch-away the rock, exposing the front part of the snout. Then about a month and a half goes by, and they start to find the orbits, the eye holes. And then we see the shoulder, and then we see the fins, and then we see more and more and more and more until we see pretty much the entire top side of the body. What's really wonderful about this specimen is that we have the head connected to a body, and the body is connected to the fins. So we know that this fin comes from this animal, and we know its size and how it fits together.
Later, we found parts of other specimens, and some of these were really big, up to 9 feet long.
Wow.
The local Inuit people named our fossil Tiktaalik, which means large freshwater fish. And as we took stock of our discovery, the real excitement began. Here was an animal Darwin had predicted, a real anatomical mixture. It had some features of fish, like scales and fins and gills. It also had lungs for breathing air. And, to our astonishment, it had a neck, the earliest one like ours ever found.
Fish with a neck.
But inside the
That's
fins lie the clincher. We see an early version of Owen's 1 bone, 2 bones, lots of bones pattern that we see in our own limbs today. It even had a kind of wrist, the first signs of a link to the human hand. Every time you flex your wrist or shake your head, you can thank Tiktaalik and its Devonian cousins adapting to life in these ancient streams. Unlike other fish, Tiktaalik could use its neck to watch out for predators and to hunt smaller prey. And because those fins were strong enough to lift its body out of the water, a whole new frontier opened. Over millions of years, the two pairs of fins in fish like Tiktaalik would lead to the two pairs of limbs in every bony animal on Earth. It's a powerful legacy we can see in our own arms and legs today.
Well, to think about Tiktaalik, think about this. Think about a push-up. What are we doing when we do a push-up? We're using the muscles that attach to our chest and attach to the underside of our arm to give us the power to raise up. We use our elbows and use flexion at the wrist, which is very important because it allows our palm to contact the ground. Here's the fin of Tiktaalik. And what does it have? It has a massive surface for connection of muscles that would attach the shoulder to the underside of the upper arm. It has evidence of a highly mobile elbow, and it even has a wrist that can flex so that the equivalent of the palm can contact the ground. Here's a fish that can do a push-up. I remember looking at the wrist of Tiktaalik for the first time, and at that moment, I felt akin to what I felt in the anatomy lab when I saw the cadaver and its hand. The hand actually defines us in many ways. When you think about what makes our species unique and special,
Danny used
it's
to say
having
hand.
thoughts and
Danny
being.
would say hand. He knew he had
hand,
to hold a hand to go do something a lot when he was little.
After he was hatched.
After he was hatched, yeah.
Hand.
He would say that all the time. Hand, yeah.
We come full circle.
Yeah,
right?
Circle.
I guess so, yeah.
Able to make those thoughts real. And the way our thoughts become real is through use of our hands to build things, to make things.
Yet the basic form of this wonderfully complex, quintessentially human piece of anatomy can be traced back to the fins of ancient fish. It's an incredible evolutionary story that we can now unravel. When Tiktaalik was first conceived, like every animal that has ever lived, it started as a single cell, which slowly formed into a body. Small buds appeared, and genes like Sonic Hedgehog shaped them into fins. Over millions of years, fins like these evolved into a myriad of forms, like the limb of this early amphibian with 8 fingers. As millions more years passed, new variations emerged.
Just an overactive, like Sonic
From the
Hedgehog gene.
clawed limbs of reptiles that would colonize dry land. To the powerful arms of primates that could traverse through the trees. Until eventually, a remarkable piece of anatomy arose that would itself transform the world. The human hand. This history is not just in our bone, flesh, and muscle. It's in our DNA. And that's what connects us all the way back to our inner fish.
Pretty cool, right?
Fundamental portions of our own bodies originally came about in fish living in water. And the great transition from life in water to life in land set the stage for a whole new set of anatomical inventions that were themselves to form the core for our own humanity.
Next time on Your Inner Fish.
Oh, there's
We're
a
related.
series of this?
So yeah,
Sorry.
there's two
Okay.
more episodes,
Okay.
but
Okay.
but yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Here, let me get the music going again. But yeah, you said pizza's gonna be here soon, or
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, thanks so much for sitting with me.
Thank you.
So
Are
glad
gonna
you enjoyed
talk to
that.
your people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll come by and say that.
Hang on a sec. Let's back to here. There we go.
Yay!
Yeah.
Everybody still here?
Yeah. Shoot. How many people do we have watching right now? Let's take a look.
That's freaking amazing. Ooh,
That's okay, Mom. Let's see.
Oh, it's showing my...
118 people. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Not too shabby.
This was
Yeah.
a PBS show?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. It's based on a book too.
Wow. That is amazing. I have to share this later tonight.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
pretty
you
good.
would.
Yeah, really good, really good.
Cool.
You had a good choice for us today.
Thanks. You know, actually, who I was talking to about this, who suggested this, was Lordy. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go see my mom and Auntie Kathy. Like, shoot, what should we watch? She's like, how about Your Inner Fish?
Oh, good.
So shout out to Lordy for that.
Yeah,
Thank you,
great
Lordy.
idea, Lordy. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yes.
Very good.
So anyway, yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to disappear for a couple minutes.
Okay,
Are you
cool.
going to
Then
stay?
we'll come back.
You going to stay?
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay, I can stay. Sure.
No,
I'll
no,
stay.
you do either. Yeah.
Okay, I'll stay for
Yeah.
a minute.
Okay, I'll see you guys. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Mom.
Of course.
Not that old. Oh, I'm older.
So anyway, yeah.
What are your people saying, Denny?
Well, let's see. You can see right here. There's the chat going by right
oh,
there.
get it. What are your fish saying?
The fun will begin now.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, shoot. Should we talk about where I'm gonna be, like tomorrow and then later on?
Yeah,
in the trip?
let's do it.
Well, shoot. Tomorrow, sometime early in the morning, I'm gonna be leaving for Nevada.
Nice. Okay.
Gonna be going to Berlin Ichthyosaur State Park, and hopefully the roads are open so I can get there.
Yes, because it's pretty brutal up
Yeah.
there right now. So.
Hopefully the wireless like the cell signal is good enough that I can
Yes.
stream, and hopefully
Yes.
my equipment works. So there's a lot of ifs.
Fingers crossed.
But
yeah, I'll be watching.
yeah.
I'll be watching for sure.
Cool.
For sure.
Yeah, that'll be neat.
Yeah. Does
Um,
anybody want to know where I'll be tomorrow? I'll be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
be here.
But yeah. Anyway, everybody. Does anybody have any questions or anything before I sign off? Let me know. And
Are
here,
we
let's.
gonna get another hype train? Hype train.
It might be. Yeah, it might be time for that. Let's see.
It's 4:46. Can we do it? Can we do it?
Uh,
Send you off.
And let's see. Are we gonna see the rest of this video eventually? I want to learn more. Yeah, Jenna Strand. Let me see if I can find it for you real quick. Here is a link to that one. I know at least the first one is available on the PBS website. The rest of them might be too. I know you can find them in other places online. Like, I think I saw them on Vimeo or Dailymotion or something like that. So, but yeah. And holy cow, Dork Apocalypse just gifted 10 gift subs.
Wow.
That's probably gonna kick off a hype train here, I'm guessing.
Right on. Yay.
yeah,
Kudos.
Thank you, Dork Apocalypse.
That's fabulous.
Really appreciate that.
Your people love you, Danny.
Seriously, yeah.
Yeah,
We've got an
you gotta-
amazing community here.
You have a great gig here. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Jenna Strand says, thanks, Danny. Hope you enjoy your evening with your family. I will. Thank you for saying so. And, oh, we've got a singing crocodile here.
Oh.
Thank you so much to, who was that?
Thank
With
you very
the-
much for the 100 bits.
Let's see.
all
here.
those. Yeah, it's
I know,
very
right?
wonderful.
Yeah.
Very
Those are my
cool.
dinosaur emotes, so I
Oh, I
designed
love
those.
that.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. And
good
shoot,
call.
thank you. It's kind of hard to keep track. I'm gonna have to see if I can add some more, like notifications in chat for when I'm doing mobile streams, so I can keep
there
track
you
of what's
go.
going
Keep
on.
track of everybody.
But Looky Lucille, thank you for resubscribing. I appreciate that.
Oh, that's nice.
And yeah, holy cow. And Ios, holy cow. Ios, thank you so much for the 25 months of support.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Ios!
Yeah.
Oh, that's fabulous. That's fabulous.
To make a wonderful difference
And,
in the appreciation and understanding of
see.
fossil science here on Tips.
Big indeed, Ios. Thank you, thank you. And Nafron, holy cow, was that 1,000 bits? Nafron, thank you so much for that. I appreciate you.
Nafron?
Yeah.
Nafron! Sorry, Danny. You gonna...
Oh, you're great. I can't. I've got the earbud in, so you can be as loud as you want.
Okay. Wake the neighbors.
Will we get a Danny song? Well, shoot. I mean, we're close. I could go get the ukulele, I suppose. I could maybe do a song for you. But
well, will it come with a hype train? It's up to them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, shoot. There's the tattoo right there.
Oh, that's nice.
Here, let me switch views so you can see it there.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, Acrocanthosaurus skull, and so I designed that live on stream.
Wow!
And then Lenina had a tattoo artist kind of interpret it.
Cool. That's a great job. Yeah, I like that.
That was pretty neat. Pretty neat.
That's cool.
So yeah. And let's see. And hey, Open Out, how are you doing? Welcome. Andy Rea. Thank you for the gift sub. I appreciate that, Andy Rea. Thank you. That's wonderful. Hughie wants to know, is Tiktaalik, that fish that we were talking about from the program, is it comparable to mud skippers? I think that's what Hughie was asking. I mean, you could compare it. Sure, it's comparable. It's not closely related at all. But mud skippers are... I think they might have a different kind of setup for how they kind of move across land. I think it's a little bit different. But, yeah. But it's a neat analogy, I guess, to think about. So, yeah. Anywho. Yeah. Excuse me. I did not get a lot of sleep last night. I was up till like midnight packing and everything, and then I got up at like 6 this morning.
Yeah, not enough sleep.
Or no, like 5 this morning, yeah.
You just go to bed early tonight then.
I probably will, yeah.
Yeah, because what time are you hitting the road?
Shoot, probably around 9, but maybe earlier. I have to map everything out tonight.
Okay.
And plan out my route. But,
okay.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's cool. You brought your ukulele so you can play it.
It's down in the garage, so I can go get it potentially. If we get to a level 5. See, we're 27% of the way there.
Oh, 27% is not acceptable, people. I want to see 100%, and then Danny will go to a brief commercial because I can't be trusted on the air without supervision. So maybe at 88, 89, 95, 98%, you run down there.
Okay.
Put on a little video, come back.
Uh-huh.
And then we'll do the hype train!
Yeah. Can we see the kitties for more hype? I don't know if they're going to want to come out and
they don't
say
like
hello.
to be held.
They don't?
Your mom says.
Oh, okay.
So, you know.
Thank you very much for the one.
I don't know. Well, we're at 30%, so thank you.
Yeah, Mikey Likes, thank you for those bits. Really appreciate it.
That's really nice.
Lovely.
That's really nice. Yeah.
But yeah, and classic Cats Dignified, says Pocket Thurman. Yeah, cats don't like to be told what to do.
I know, they're so, yeah. They just do their own thing. Look at that. You're 46%.
Yeah, I know.
47%. Oh my
Lenina,
God.
thank you for that gift sub. I really appreciate that.
And you have a big message there.
Yeah, that's one of my pre-programmed ones.
Oh, nice. You're at 100%.
There we go.
Wow.
Holy cow, Orchid Twilight, 2,000 bits.
Oh, hype train.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Orchid. I really appreciate that. Holy moly. I'm going to have to go get the ukulele real
You're going to
quick.
have to. So you're going to put on something, a video or something?
It'll just take me like 20 seconds to go get it, I think.
Yeah, well, I don't want to sit here for 20 seconds.
You could dance to the music if you want to. It's going right now. I don't know.
Okay.
You don't have to. Whatever. You could also follow me. What's that? Okay, sure.
Okay.
I think she's going to bring up one of the cats or something. I couldn't
Bring up
play
a
her.
picture of the cats.
A
I think
picture
you have
of the
time.
cats.
Just run out there and I'll just wait.
Yeah, okay.
just
I'll
wait.
be right back.
We'll wait for Danny. I'll tell him about the day you were born.
Okay.
No, I won't embarrass you. Yeah. So that's cool. He's just going to run downstairs, get his instrument, and come on back up. So for dinner, though, tonight, we're having, in Danny's honor, some pizza. So some vegetarian pizza. And then for desserts, I picked up a key lime pie because apparently Danny's mom and Danny love key lime pie, so we're gonna have that for dessert. I was telling them about the menu. Yes.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah, so I was good unsupervised. I didn't cause any problems. Yes.
I was only gone for a few seconds.
You were like, yeah, dinosaur speed, raptor speed.
So yeah, let's see. Why don't we do the dinosaur march and then I'm a paleontologist maybe? I think that'll be good. So let's pause our tunes right there and then catch my breath.
All right.
But,
thank you for the hype train.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate the
Well,
support.
your people respond nicely.
Seriously.
When you need them, they're there.
Thank you very
It's
much
fabulous.
for the 100 bits.
And thank you, Nordic Raptor, for the 100 bits. I really appreciate that.
Nordic
Thank you,
Raptor!
All right, let's do the dinosaur march real quick. This is, I think you've heard this one before.
I'm sure I have.
Super simple song. This is my students' very favorite song. Like, This is the one that they loved the most last time I was teaching full time. And it goes, many, many years ago, before the people came, the animals upon the earth, they did not look the same. They lived for 170 million years, but now they are no more, except for birds. They were the dinosaurs. Apatosaurus, Diplodocus, Stegosaurus, Allosaurus, Ankylosaurus, and Triceratops, Tyrannosaurus Rex. So there we go. Do you want to go get your uke, Mom? Well, you can show it off at least. I know you don't know how to play it. Okay. All right, here comes the second verse. We can learn about these awesome beasts by studying their bones. Skeletons under the ground that partly turn to stone. We dig them up and we clean them and we raise them off the floor to build a dinosaur. Apatosaurus, Diplodocus, Stegosaurus, Allosaurus, Ankylosaurus, and Triceratops, Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Oh, it's cute. That's stuff on the screen.
Fabulous.
Yeah. Do you have yours tuned up? Should I try and play that one?
Yeah, you can try it.
It's the same one. I know.
I mean, you tuned it.
Oh, okay. When I tuned it, you did. Okay.
No.
Uh-oh.
Oh, is that a tune?
Yeah. I got my tuner right here.
Okay.
Let's see. And then
Wanna
maybe
sit down, Bunny?
it's gonna sound different from mine anyway. But that's way off.
What's so off?
My phone's ringing, so let me go grab that. I'll switch spots with you.
Let's see. That should be G, right? Yeah, these are way flat.
I hear good things are happening.
Yeah, we got a level 5 hype train.
Wow. Celestin.
E. It's all super flat. I wonder if it's like temperature fluctuations that would do that.
Oh, maybe.
G and there we go.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yep. All right. Yeah, yours. It sounds like more crisp than mine somehow.
really?
It's like.
Maybe it's the quality.
I mean.
This was pricey.
Was it?
It was like $150.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
This
in
is
Hawaii.
like 20.
In Hawaii. It was in Hawaii.
Okay.
Well, it's got real wood. I don't know if this is real wood.
Parts of that are plastic. But,
Yeah.
But I really like how it
try
sounds.
Try a little bit.
Yeah, let's see. I love digging in the dirt, just a picking
It sounds more Hawaiian.
Finding fossils is my aim, and so I'm never in a rush. Yeah. You think it sounds more Hawaiian?
It does. Is that interesting?
I don't know what that means.
It does. It's Auntie Joyce would play a lot.
Yeah.
It has a whole different. Just strumming it like this.
So I have kind of a different way of strumming. It's all about just what feels comfortable and what you can
I have
maintain
no
while you're
technique.
practicing.
You have a technique, Kathy? Here, let Kathy back in, and let me get back in.
Here, let's get you on camera.
Uh-oh. I don't have a technique.
Yeah. I just kind of use this part of my thumb to scrum with. Just because that's like what I can maintain for a long time.
Hawaiian.
Does it?
Do that again. Yeah, doesn't it? More than
Yeah.
As opposed to that?
Yeah.
Huh.
Did you get this in Hawaii?
I got it in Montana.
Oh, that's why it sounds different.
Problem here.
That's why it sounds different, dude.
I was like,
That one's from
can't say it
Hawaii.
on the air. We can't say it.
But yeah.
You can tell it has that Montana accent.
I don't think it was made in Montana. That's just where I bought it.
Because I think it's plastic. Oh, maybe it's a.
I mean, there's.
Oh, the boa wood.
It's
what do they call that?
beautiful.
Is it a bosu
It's
wood?
not koa wood, no.
No,
And
no,
these
bosu
guys
wood.
senior.
No, it's not koa.
Oh, the ichthyosaur, of course.
Yeah,
That's
look
my.
at how beautiful that is.
Oh, thanks. That's a decal that I made.
Yeah, very
That's actually what I'm
nice.
going to go see tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
That's an ichthyosaur. These giant,
Wow.
You should have told me. I could have joined you on the road trip.
well, you'd have to like drive all the way back then.
I know that would be.
And
crappy.
I don't think
fly
you'd.
by- oh, you
I don't
should
think
get
you'd
in.
like this
It's
spot
okay.
very much
Okay.
at all.
No.
You have to be on dirt roads for part of it.
Oh God. God, I had trouble sitting on the sofa for an hour. God knows what it was like. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't I do? I'm a paleontologist, and then I think we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Okay.
All right.
And a 1 and a 2.
I love digging in the dirt with just a pick and brush. Finding fossils is my aim, and so I'm never in a rush because the treasures that I see, they're rare and ancient things like Velociraptor's jaws or Archaeopteryx's wings. And all the kids who wanna see 'em, they're lining up at our museum. I am a paleontologist. That's who I am, that's who I am, that's who I am. I am a paleontologist. That's who I am, that's who I am, that's who I am. Could it be an herbivore, crushing plants with rounded teeth, or a ferocious carnivore who moves so quickly on its feet? It's like pieces of a puzzle, but I'd love to try and solve. So much fun to think about how a species has evolved, and all the kids who wanna see 'em lining up at our museum. I am a paleontologist. That's who I am, that's who I am, that's who I am. I am a paleontologist. That's who I am, that's who I am, that's who I am. That's who I am, that's who I am, that's who I am. That's who I am, that's who I am, that's who I am.
Wait,
There
who
you
are
go.
you?
and then it's what is it, Katy Perry? Yes, we're sending you to Hollywood. And Luke Bryan, yes. And then Lionel Richie, yes.
You're going to Nevada!
That's good.
I don't understand what that's a reference
Oh,
to.
they did American Idol.
Oh, huh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I
you're
don't think they've seen
Montana.
the likes of you there, Danny,
And where?
in American Idol.
Probably not, no.
No.
Not
Okay.
many paleontologists on there, I'd
Here
imagine.
is Coco. Can I show a picture of Coco?
Sure, yeah,
So go
yeah.
up here?
Yeah, that works.
Like up here?
Uh-huh.
That's Coco.
So you can see on the screen, right?
Oh, yeah.
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 And then Pups is, oh, those are some, oh, here's Pups. Pups looking all relaxed.
Oh.
Pup is chill.
Yeah. So these
He's,
guys got
he's a big boy.
Yeah,
He's,
they're 15 pounds about each. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That make a
Yeah,
good
she's
meal.
a little chunky. I'm working on it. And they say slightly overweight. But, you know, I had the cats like a month, and they're like, these cats are overweight. Like, okay.
That's not your fault, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you
You
gotta
gotta do the
overfeed
marathon
them.
through the house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Give them
just-
little kitty treadmills.
Yeah, little kitty treadmills.
Yeah, they get their
exactly.
10,000
Well, that
steps.
sounded great.
That was
You
good.
think so?
Good job.
I don't know. I'm used to mine. I think mine sounds better, but
Let's
you
do
know.
a little bit. No. It's ukuleles.
I think you
kind
just
of-
like certain notes.
Yeah, I don't know. Ukuleles are pretty cool.
Yeah, they are cool.
And it's a nice memory.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, this was fun.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks for
you.
joining me.
So you had a lot
Yeah.
of people watching? And
Yeah, good number.
Some
Um,
entertainment, better than watching news, that's for sure.
I would hope so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I think I'll go ahead and wrap things up. Let's take a look at my schedule real quick, actually. There's the tattoo, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, you designed that.
I did. So here, let me,
Wow.
so everybody else can see it.
Is that my leg?
Is that your?
No.
I like it.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
that's Lenina has that on her leg.
And does it go around the back of her leg too?
So is it kind of like calf?
No, it kind of stops like just out of frame.
got it.
Calf?
Got it.
Yeah.
Like kind of calf?
Mhm.
Okay, just above
That's
the ankle.
cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well done.
Cool, right?
Yeah.
So I designed that live on stream.
Wow, and
That's
she
nice.
this is what she was asking for, something like
Wow,
this.
that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Acrocanthosaurus is one of her favorite dinosaurs. So
Oh,
it's
nice.
an Acrocanthosaurus skull.
Okay.
Oh, nice, nice.
So,
And
yeah.
she's into paleontology as well?
I suppose, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Very
good.
Like everybody in the community
Okay.
is.
Yeah,
That's
of
why
course.
people are here.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like what you shared today was pretty significant,
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
Thanks.
The
I'm-
relationship.
I'm really glad you
Yeah, it was
you
really
enjoyed
good.
that. Yeah.
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 It was good.
Well, cool.
Yeah, I have a
thanks for sitting through
fishing
it.
friend
Yeah.
I'm going to have to share this with.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Very cool. He's going to be amazed.
Yeah. Well, here's my schedule right here.
Let's
Shoot,
see.
Let's get our music going again. Sorry. And should be right there.
So when are we back on, Kathy and I?
Pardon?
When are we back on?
You're not on the schedule.
Okay, we're
well,
not
except
booked.
for today. No.
We're not booked into June at least. Okay.
It's already June.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do. We could do another stream in the fall or something. If there's
Yeah,
another stream.
yeah, sure.
Maybe on your way home.
Who knows?
Yeah. You probably want
Yeah.
to get home.
That'd be cool. But yeah, tomorrow the 15th, Ichthyosaur State Park. Hopefully, cross your fingers, everything works out. Yeah, we'll see. And then after that, up to Idaho. So
Nice.
I hope to see everybody. Hopefully tomorrow. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
But everybody,
That's
thank
the
you so
plan.
much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate that more than you know. Let me see if we can get our credits going, actually.
And thank you for the hype trains. There was two.
Yeah, seriously.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Yeah. And credits, Deinonychus. Let's see if that works. Not quite.
Awesome.
I know you're working on it. Just like one.
Yeah. Well, credits aren't going to work today. It's a mobile stream. You know, these things happen like that.
But if anybody wants to see Mom and Auntie Kathy stream, and want to hear from us again and to know more about Danny, what he was like after he was hatched, let him know, and then we can perhaps make a channel and we could do a stream too.
Sure. Yeah.
We could do beginning ukulele practice.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Get Auntie Joyce to teach it.
There you go.
Yeah, that would be
If
nice.
she streams something, she could probably tell people what to do.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Uh,
hidden gem.
Yeah. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Hope to see you tomorrow. Hopefully everything works out. Cross your fingers. So yeah, until next time. Well, shoot, let's see who else is on right now.
And then look out,
Who we can
Nevada. Here
raid.
comes Danny, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Who else is? Oh, let's see. I know what we're gonna do.
You're gonna raid who?
I hear people.
There we go. We're gonna go raid Cooking with Lordy. So everybody,
Oh wow.
we're gonna go see Lordy and Ios. Everybody, you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for being here with me. And yeah, excited to be on this trip. Join me. This is gonna be a fun, fun couple months.
Yeah, nice
thanks
to
for
have
having
you,
me over.
Danny. Yes.
Yeah. You could stop by anytime.
Thank you. All right, everybody, we're gonna go raid in right now. I will see everyone next time. All right.
Talk
Bye-bye.
to you later. Bye.